It's preparing to live streaming. And we are on in now.
What? We live? We live?
Live!
Well, hello everyone. It's me, Andy Cops, the storyteller, all part of this wonderful group that is Time to Wind Down. 3 South Africans that love to celebrate South African wines, South African food, and South African music. So what can I tell you about me? Well, I'm a storyteller. I originally came to the UK in 2001, so I've been here over 20 years. And last year, I had the great privilege of meeting these 2 wonderful people. And we created something very new called Time to Wind Down. Our first event was on the first weekend of October. We were celebrating the Pinotage wine because we have a very special co-host, that being Gerhard, who is the great-grandson of the founder of the Pinotage wine. And then we had a Christmas event, which didn't quite go to plan because of COVID. But nevertheless, we still went ahead and we did that live. But let me stop rambling and give the stage to the others so that you can get to know Michelle and Gerhard.
I'm going to go second because I'm the girl in between, aren't I? So Michelle is my name. And what do? I do many things, one of which is the Content College Club, where I think we all got to know each other. Well, Gerhard, I think we knew each other quite a while, and then we found Andy drifting around. Yeah, and there we go. Content College Club and Instinctive Living on my 2 other interests, except besides Time to Wind Down, which is all about, as Andy said, music, wine, and stories. Almost forgot that one. I've been in the UK now for a very long time, almost 7 years, and still miss South Africa. So it's great to be hanging out with the story and wine guys and getting the South African vibe going.
Well, I suppose that is cue for me to come in. Well, I'm Gerhard from Perald Wine Cellar. And if you don't know what I'm doing, just look behind me. I like drinking good wine because of my heritage that Andy nicely showed out for us. Perald Wine Cellar actually is been going for a few years now. And what we try to do is showcasing what South Africa can produce. Fantastic wines with a lot around it as well, being sustainable and lots of other different bits. But that's why I think Time to Wind Down is a great place to be, because between the 3 of us, we can share the love and passion for South Africa, celebrating some food, wine, fire, storytelling, and music. So it's great to be here, and it's great to have met Michelle and Andy and to do Time to Wind Down. So yeah, that's me.
I find it absolutely incredible how this came to be. And I think we were just playing around with ideas and having some fun, and then we threatened one another, didn't we? And we did that old chestnut where you throw it out to the universe and say, hey, you know what we should do? We should just create our own little group and start having some fun and invite others to join us drinking wine. I mean, what is there not to love about that idea? At least you've got a glass of wine, Gerhard. What are you drinking, may I ask?
Well, actually, I'm trying something new, actually, because it's January and we all want to sort of a fresh start after the old Christmas time. And don't get me wrong, I never do dry January. That will be totally wrong. And I don't think it's healthy for my body to do dry January. But I slow down a little bit, maybe, in drink quality. But today, actually, I've got a de-alcoholized wine in my glass. So this is a vegan-friendly de-alcoholized wine from Darling Cellars. And also what I'm trying to do is just to find a wine that is close enough to the real deal when maybe when you have a time when you don't want to drink, like in January, or you go through a time that you feel like you want to slow down, or you might be driving, but you still want to enjoy the evening, and you might want to have a couple of glasses rather than just one. Then de-alcoholized wine is quite good because that gives you a chance to have a little bit. It's something to get used to. It's not, you're not going to get all of it from like normal wine, but there is the flavor profiles there. There is little bits there, and you got something red, nice looking wine in your glass rather than a glass of water, I suppose, or a glass of juice or Coke or anything like that. So it's quite nice. I'm trying it, and it's quite good, really. Yeah,
Are you selling those wines at the moment, Gerhard?
I am looking to sell them. They're in my shop at the moment because I ordered some in. I didn't order them in just to have them, but I thought I'll put them in the shop. I'm trying them now, and I probably would have them online as well at some point. Yeah.
I mean, it makes me, it raises the question, where are you? Let's ask that question. Where? Just let all our listeners know, where in the world, well, where in the UK are you?
Well, in the world, I'm in the UK, of course, but even though I want to be in South Africa. But I've been here for 18 years now, so it's been a while. And Somerset, I made Somerset my home, and I've been here for the last 10 years in Somerset in a small little village called Mender. And I'm actually sitting in my studio area. I would have wished this was my home, but it's not. This is my little studio area. In the back offices of our shop in Mender. Yeah, this is where I am, I suppose. Yeah.
It's interesting because when I first came to the UK, I don't know where you guys started, but my wife and I, we just came to London because that was where my cousin lived, and everyone just says, well, most of the South Africans start off, I mean, I know it's a generalization, but there is this whole surge of South Africans that seem to be in southwest of London. And that's where we started off. We started off in Fulham. We had a short-term let flat, and then we got a one-bedroom flat right on the lower part of Putney. So it was the bottom of Putney High Street and Lower Richmond Road. And we had a flat overlooking Putney Bridge. It was also the start of where the Oxford-Cambridge boat race used to be. So I have some amazing fond memories in the spring of watching the boat race because my cousin stayed up in a flat just up the road, and we used to all just stand outside the flat because they had this lovely little balcony, and we had the braai going, and yeah, it was just fond memories. But I'm still in. I should say I'm still around. I'm still in the London Borough. Well, I'm in the London Borough of Sutton, so that's where I am now. Michelle, how about you? Where in the UK are you?
Well, as you say, I also started off in that area, southwest London. Ended up in Worcester Park, which is not far from where you are now. But it was a bit much for a small town girl like me. So we moved up. I wanted to go closer to the ocean and somehow ended up in the point. I think it is actually definitely the furthest from the ocean in the whole of the UK. In a tiny little village called Hollington in Derbyshire, just below the Peak District. There's about 212 people in the village. There's a pub and some houses.
Are there any other South Africans in your village?
Not in my village, no, but okay. There are just around the corner. I know some South Africans, some great South Africans, and then also in the bigger town, which is Ashbourne, I know there are some great friends, South Africans.
And remind us, where in South Africa is home for you?
Swellendam, the coolest town in South Africa.
And you know, it's funny when I sit here in the UK, and we all miss, you know, being able to go back, and many of us haven't been back for some time. But Swellendam is one part of the world I have not been, and I've seen the pictures, and I'm going, hang on, I want to see more of South Africa, and this is all too common a tale.
Yeah, see, South Africa, Swellendam specifically is one of those towns. My brother-in-law always says if you swerve out for a chicken, you might miss it. It's one of those little gems that a lot of people haven't been to, and I think it's coming onto the map a little bit more. But there's some amazing spots in the mountains and the mountain pools and walking trails and wine farms just around. It's very close to the Robertson wine area. There's a wonderful little wine farm on a gravel road out towards Infanta by Malgas. Really, really nice wines. So there's a lot of, we actually had one of the winemakers from a tiny little village close to Swellendam, McGregor, on our show on the 18th, Robert Rosenbach from McGregor. So yeah, the things are happening in that area. It's a pity it's so far.
So there's so many great places in South Africa. It's so hard. I think you can live your whole life there and you will never see everything. Yeah, and that's, I suppose, what Time to Wind Down is trying to do. We are celebrating different areas, different cultures, and different stuff we can celebrate: food, wine, and music, story.
No, nobody's asked me where I'm from in South Africa.
We know.
I keep saying I was born in Durban. I have family in Pietermaritzburg, and my dad moved up to Johannesburg, and they bought the house on the east of Joburg in the wonderful mining town that is Boksburg. I keep saying that's where the international airport is, but anyone that knows South Africa in that area will argue and probably say, no, it's in Kempton Park, it's not Boksburg. But Boksburg had that name, Boksburg by the sea, because of all the mine dumps. But the last I've heard is all the mine dumps are gone now, so they can't use that. But Gerhard, where are you? Where's home for you in South Africa?
Well, yeah, home for me, I was it's quite interesting actually. I was born right in Cape Town, so I'm a pure Cape Townian, in the heart, Stormers fan. But actually, we lived just about 2 hours drive up the coast in a small place called Kleinmond. So don't know if people would know where that is. It's a small little town. Well, nowadays it's not as small anymore, but those days it was as well. If you blinked when you drive through it or past it, then you would have missed it. But a lovely little area, really. But then actually, my dad at the time, when we left there, he was a forester, and then went to do a management position for a protea farm just through on the left hand side. If you go through Kleinmond on the left hand side, there's a massive, there was a big protea farm, and that exported all over the world. Actually, the UK was quite a big market, and he was managing the protea farm there. And certain things happened and stuff, so he moved back into forestry, and then was posted up in Sabi, another small little place in the world. If I say Kruger Park, you would probably know sort of more the area where it is. And that's where actually I sort of I grew up most of my life, or a part of my life when I was young, and got my love for the wildlife, animals, just before we moved then to Pretoria. And Pretoria was actually probably my city. So if I say where I'm from, I should actually say Pretoria. But that only gives me my education and my love for rugby and cooking. But I'm a Cape Town boy, in the heart. So yeah.
Now we probably should talk about what our theme is today, because we are talking about pruning, aren't we? Very much a metaphor for many of us trying to find or implement New Year's resolutions. I'm not a huge fan of those. I know it normally starts with what you said, Gerhard, going for detox and getting healthy again. I don't even think many of us had the chance to actually celebrate properly in December. So I think there's been a lot of deferred parties scheduled in December. So have you actually are you seeing any work events happening or rebookings, Gerhard, that you're getting invited to for wine tasting sessions?
Yeah, there's a little bit, not much of it. But what I do see is people are slowing down in January. And for me personally, I think some people stop totally, and I've got no problem if people don't want to drink. But I just think sometimes is looking at your own. If you want to look at your health, then look at it through the whole year and not in January. And it's probably, like I said earlier, is drink less, but drink more quality. And knowing what you're drinking is very important, I think, and where it comes from, and who made my wine, what's gone into my wine or my drink, and have a look a little bit and take a bit more interest. Don't just pick up anything and drink it, because that might not be the right thing. But actually, maybe it's for me more a refresh rather than a a detox of a period of time for me personally. So,
What are your thoughts around that, Michelle?
Well, I agree completely. It's kind of living, isn't it? We need to be conscious of what we do. Otherwise, it just flies past. And drinking good wine is like one of those things. And understanding or learning about the story behind the wine and the people that make it, because it's I mean, through getting to know Gerhard and the winemakers and their dogs and the people that work on the farm and the methods that they use in their farming, and it's all makes part of that bottle that you have on your shelf or goes into your glass, and it makes it just creates an experience instead of, oh, let's just drink some wine.
Yeah.
So basically, January it could be a time to try something new, try being fresh. Andy, I think you like being outside in around the fire and telling stories, didn't you? So what is January meaning for you in that sort of sense?
Well, firstly, I think I've heard a lot of people coming and we hear the New Year's resolutions, and I think I could probably say on the back of 2019. So I went self-employed, full-time self-employed, 2017, and I found the first 2 years, anyone that started like something from nothing, especially a new brand, will know the pain, especially in the first 2 years. And I was very happy to see that back in 2019. I was like literally going, yes, bring it on. My diary was starting to fill up with bookings, and I had a lot of work in schools and companies, and this was like, this is exciting. So I was like, bye-bye 2019. And I had no idea what was coming along. And then even people were saying they were happy to see the back of 2020 and 2021. We all know what happened then. So I've been very skeptical. With seeing the back of 2021. It's not that I'm not positive, and I'm not going to try my hardest to do stuff. But I think we've learned that we need to, if we want things to happen, we got to just do them ourselves. And we've learned so much over the last 2 years in how to still persevere and how to still be able to earn a living. And I think now we just have to say, look, let's just carry on. Let's just carry on doing what we were doing, but we can't afford. And I know I'm going to probably mention something from Elizabeth Gilbert's book, The Big Magic, which I know, Michelle, you've been reading and listening to. We just need to be brave. We can't let fear hold the steering wheel, which is something that Elizabeth mentions in her book. And it's actually anybody that hasn't read that book, I would strongly recommend getting a copy for it. And especially guys, like men, please. You may think, oh no, this is not suitable for men. Please get yourself a copy of that book and have a read, because there's so much about it that I think if I had read that book when I was working in my salaried role, which I wasn't terribly happy with what I was doing at the time, and I was desperate to get out. I think if I'd read that book, it would have probably given me a new outlook on things. But going back to your question, Gerhard, what is this year about? It's about nurturing those relationships, like working with the two of you guys. These ideas that we have, it's just carry on and keep at it. Persevere. Don't stop.
Yes, it's pruning for the here, and looking at your opportunities and looking where we could go next, and what are we going to do, and keep on. For me, pruning a vine never stops growing. But if you don't look after it and maybe do a bit of pruning when it's needed, or doing a bit of bits to it, then where it's going to go, it's going to or overgrown or die. And I think time to wind down for me is part of that one shoot that's going off for the three of us together, and it's a very exciting 2022 for me. I think what we are planning in the here for 2022 is quite exciting, and this is our first YouTube live.
Yeah.
Every month we're going to have one, so it will be nice to have some people, and we will have some guests coming in as well, isn't it, Michelle?
Yes. I think it's about letting go of expectations. So if we have learned anything through the past 2 years, it's don't take anything for granted and let it flow, see what happens and be open to it. I mean, making plans isn't something that we can really do necessarily anymore, but we can do virtual, get-togethers or whatever it is, and connect on those. So yeah, it's very.
Well, I think the first event we did, which was the first weekend in October, celebrating International or World Pinotage Day, and I'll never forget. I mean, that was all online, and I think the event itself was 2 hours, and then I think the after party we'll call it the green room, the after party on Zoom was another 3 hours. Yeah, so it was a 5-hour celebration, which was, I mean, it was just incredible, absolutely incredible. And we also had an incredible musician. We had Nadia Ray join us, and that was the first performance that she did online. And I've just seen her since she did that event. I've seen her performing so much more now online, and I just think this is such a brilliant opportunity for musicians to come along and join us. And I think we've all spoken about this, is about inviting someone to come along to this Thursday event, lunchtime. You're a musician and you want to play and you want to, share your music with the world, get in contact with us and let us know, and you'd be very welcome to join us.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? This, or if you want to share a good glass of wine with us, or
I think
a story, or
I think, Gerhard, you are making a very valid point, and I don't see any reason why in the next event that we can't be looking at a particular wine. And maybe, Michelle, maybe you and I could also have a bottle of the wine available. Hey, hey, Gerhard, is that possible?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, why not?
Well, I have to say because you've been amazing at inviting the wine masters to come to the events, and Michelle mentioned Robert from the McGregor estate that came along for our event in December, on the 18th of December, and just seeing where he is in the world and the pictures. I mean, it was just unbelievably fabulous. But going back to that event that we did in October, and Jeremy Borg unfortunately couldn't see us, and Jeremy is the founder of the wine estate Painted Wolf, which is a wine that generates revenues in support of the wild dog. And when he sent us a video, his background was a baobab tree, and there he is in the middle of the bush, right, with a baobab tree in the background, with a bottle of the Den, the rosé Pinotage wine, and a glass. And I'll never forget that. And then Jeremy invited us, the three of us, to go to one of those Thursday lunchtime wine tasting events, which again was online, to all his UK clients or importers. And I just sat there and went, this is phenomenal. This would be such a wonderful event for us to do together. So yeah, I'm glad that we're doing this. This is our first YouTube live, and we need lots of people to support us. So please, if you're watching this, please subscribe, right? Hit the notification bell, do all that great stuff, please, and tell your friends about it as well. We really want to try and build this and get a good following. Let's talk about the events, because what have we got planned? So we do have, I mean, we like the number 3. I think we do have 3 events planned in the year. Michelle, do you want to share to our listeners or people watching us today, what have we got planned?
Yeah, so 3, we're doing things in threes. We're going for a spring summer event. We haven't let the organizers of that event, which will be crashing, know yet, but as we go, it should be around roughly the 11th of June, if I'm not mistaken.
Part of the flow, isn't it? That you said things are flowing and growing.
So we're just going to let it flow, but just so you know, those organizers are probably watching this video and are going, the 11th of June, hang on.
Yes. big event. The second one is our flagship event, I think, and it's around Pinotage Day, which this year falls on the 8th of October. And if everything flows as it should, we might be live together on a hybrid type event. And of course, the Pinotage Day is a big celebration because of Gerhard's background in it. And I love the story and the people and the stuff around that. So that's a big one. And then our last event will be, we haven't set a date specifically, but it will be end of November, beginning December, and we'll be celebrating Christmas for that one. So 3 big ones, definitely interesting winemakers, great stories, and amazing music. Yeah, and the other ones is every second Thursday, we're going to be live on YouTube, and we'll have guests and drink wine and tell stories.
Yeah. What could go wrong?
Never say that, Andy.
Well, and you never know. You never know as things flow or the vine grows. You never know. It might pop up
Well, I'm just joking because I mean, if we look back at the December event, and we were doing it at Gerhard's wine cellar, and we had a caterer coming in, and we had sold tickets for people to come and sit down. So we were doing that all hybrid. People were joining us online. But the big thing was we were going to be serving a 3-course meal with the wines, and we had to cancel it that week. And oh man! And then we said, well, we're not canceling the event. It's still going to happen. And then we got to meet for the first time in person on that day, and then we ran the event virtually, and we managed to get 2 people to join us, just so that we had an audience in the room, and they sat at the back of the cellar. And yeah, it was superb. I mean, was a crazy evening, but so glad that we did it. Those that joined, I'm sure, well, they've said they enjoyed it, and I'm sure that
and for me, I'm sure we will share a little bit of our video recording of that, and the people who joined us will be able to tell you that it was good fun. And that's time to wind down. We will have some lovely stories, and we will share some lovely food and wine. But it's for people to get together and enjoy themselves and have a bit of a laugh and have a bit of fun, but learn something on the way as well. And I think it's just a lovely little thing to be part of. And that event definitely was, even though there were some things that are not always perfect in the event, we were still our first sort of hybrid event, and we were learning as we went on for the evening. But that is what, if we look at that event, that is what Time to Wind Down is the 3 of us coming together. We all have different backgrounds, and we all have our own businesses doing with our own pets, and getting together to celebrate South Africa. And that is what Time to Wind Down, well, I believe that's what we're trying to do in Time to Wind Down, is to have a bit of time to wind down, but let's share a bit of South Africa, because you might have lived there, or you might be from South Africa, or you might be interested in going there, or you might just want to know a little bit, or you have interest in wildlife or different bits from South Africa. And that's a great, Time to Wind Down is a great place to go to sort of have a little bit of understanding. And I remember we said in our first event, we were talking about places in South Africa, and we had a lovely audience from the UK there. And there was a comment that came up that we don't know what you were talking about. But that's a little bit part of it, because you will learn, and you will go, okay, where is Darling in South Africa? And that maybe then for you to go and have a little read about Darling. And then there's a bit of history around that. But through our events, we will bring those things out. And I'm looking forward to this year, and we're sharing some more story and love and celebrating of South Africa.
Yeah, and I think, you mentioning the fire, one of the things that I love doing, I mean, aside from making fires, is cooking on fires. And I think this is the part of the food. So we can do a lot of, there's so many ideas that we have around doing outdoor cooking and sharing recipes, how to cook, really good meals, just using fire and wood and not coals. I think we all big fans of cooking on wood. And the other thing, of course, the music. I mean, the beautiful thing about the 18th of December, we had a English band singing Silent Night in Afrikaans, Stille Nacht. And I mean, Gerhard, credit to that band as well. They were absolutely amazing.
No, definitely. Graham
Emily.
and Emily was fantastic, and really dragged me back to my childhood, standing next to a cousin and singing some hymns, on the 24th of December. And that was really special to me, and I think that was quite nice. And through that, people who joined us for the event have seen a little bit of Afrikaans or experienced a little bit of a different culture, and that is nice. And we also had a lovely speaker. And Michelle, who was our speaker on that day?
Sanalisiwe Ganshaw was amazing. She's such a lovely person. She joined us from Cape Town, and told us a little bit about her rituals. No, not rituals. What's the right word?
Culture. The
culture. Yeah, culture.
The traditions.
Yeah. So it was lovely listening to her, and not so great to know that she was sitting in Cape Town.
No.
Yeah, I think she was complaining about how hot it was, and
Yeah.
it's unacceptable. But I think we also, hopefully, we can help people, not so much educate, but just show how wonderful even doing this online can be, in bringing people around the table, or inviting people to your home, and you can join us online. I had friends in South Africa that didn't know what to expect, and they just logged on to the laptop to join the event, and they had family and friends. I think, typical South African Saturday afternoon, evening, having a braai, and friends were around, and they logged on, and they couldn't believe how much fun they had that evening. So we are certainly trying to encourage people to say, don't just say no to Zoom on the weekend. Please still try and join us. I mean, if this YouTube works, maybe we'll just do it YouTube Live. I don't know. We're still going to experiment. We're going to play around and see what works. But what we would love is feedback.
Yeah.
Tell us what you would like. What's a wish? What wish do you have? Because I can put my hand up and say, I haven't been able to go back to South Africa for over 4 years. But just being able to engage and do stuff online, it just bridges everyone, brings us all together.
No, definitely. And a wish. And this is January, so wish for 2022, and we will help you make it come true, hopefully. But then it's lovely. We are 3 of us, and we all have different aspects, and Andy could help you with different bits, and Michelle. Well, Andy, tell us a little bit more. What can you help people with if they saw, this is a lovely story, they've been to our event, but what else can you help people with?
It's actually interesting, Gerhard. Develop their public speaking confidence, their public speaking skills, and standing up in front of an audience, not having to read. I think one of the skills with storytelling is utilizing your brain, the term being your mind's eye, being able to visualize your script, so you can just stand and talk in front of an audience without having to read. And there's a huge difference between reading and speaking to your audience without having to read. And so that's the one thing I offer. The other one, which I'm quite excited about, is there's a professional storyteller that we are looking to work together on in creating a program entitled Find Your Story. I get so many people that come to me, professional people working in the corporate world, and saying, I can stand up and I can talk about the product or service that our company delivers. I can talk about other people. I can share case studies. I can share information, but I don't know what my story is. And I find that amazing. There's so many people that don't think that they have a story to share. And I think that's quite sad. And my little phrase or saying that I have is everybody has a story to tell. It just needs somebody to listen. And that's the beautiful thing about storytelling. It's you, and you just need one other person to listen. And hey, you've got storytelling.
Fantastic. And I've listened to your stories, and a lot of our listeners have listened to your stories, and it's always refreshing and so personal listening to stories. And stories turns into, you put your stories onto your channel on YouTube or different platforms, and part of that is to do with content. And Michelle, what can you tell us? How do you use content, and or tell us a little bit of what else you can give to the audience?
So content is story, isn't it? It's using your story and putting it in different places and things. So Andy is amazing at telling them, and I love writing them and helping people use their story in their business in a written format. So with Content College Club, we group of solopreneurs or soulpreneurs or small business owners, and I think as a community we support each other. We create online courses, we help people use what they already have in their own business and putting it together. And obviously, being a solopreneur can be very lonely, so chatting to other people that are going through the same things and finding answers to questions that might be someone else's expertise is always nice to know that you can get in touch with someone, or that there's other people in a community, and that's the Content College Club for us.
Yeah, and leaning onto someone else's expertise, and Michelle is helping me a little bit around my website and blog writing and bits and pieces. And I think Michelle's got a fantastic skill, much more than what you could see on the face front, being part of this free. So definitely, I would, if I have any, anything around content or website building and writing. There's something there, but I won't tell you too much. Then Michelle is the girl. Definitely.
Now, Michelle, I'm gonna interject, Gerhard. Should we ask the stupid question to Gerhard?
Yeah, there we go.
Gerhard, what do you do?
I drink wine. well, yes. What do I do? Besides who I am, and my heritage is, my business is importing and distributing wines. So if you are a wine shop, or you are a wine bar, or you've got a South African shop and you're selling some lovely South African products, I can supply you with some lovely wines and spirits and sparkling wines from South Africa. But then also I can educate you a little bit more about wine, the processes, the wineries, where they're from, the winemakers itself. I will get onto some wine tastings. So we do a lot of wine talks and tastings, where we share our passion and our love, or my love and passion for the wine industry, from the core to the opening up your bottle and pouring it into your glass. For me, it's about the earth where the vines is growing. It's as important as enjoying a bottle of wine with friends, because it starts somewhere, and it's important to know where that somewhere is, how that soil types is going to change the flavors profiles in your glass, and what we're trying to do is showcasing the fantastic skills that our winemakers got in South Africa, through a glass of wine. So if you have corporate events or charity events, and then Battle Wine Cellars here to do a little bit of a wine tasting event, to sort of discover those bits and pieces through a glass of wine. So that is one thing we do, and we also retail the wines online and through our little shop here in Tutamenda. Now,
I'm going to ask Michelle, because I'm looking at the time, and I think we said we'll only do today's session for about 30 minutes, and we've done what we've traditionally done, which is go over a little bit. But in terms of people getting in contact with us now, what are the best ways? What are the options that people have to say, hey, I want to follow you guys, aside from hitting the notification bell and subscribing to this YouTube channel? What else can they do?
So I've created a page with all the links on, and I'll put that link in the description. But you can find us on Facebook. We have a page on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're obviously on YouTube. Where else are we?
Herald Wine Cellar website.
Herald Wine Cellar website, which I'll put down. So heraldwinecellar.co.uk/time to wind down. And yeah, join our email list. That's another great place. But all those links I'll put in the description.
And also, once you get to my website, heraldwinecellar.co.uk, there will be, and we're working on that at the moment, there will be some products that you can buy, especially to support our cause Time to Wind Down. Because, we are zero budget. Time to Wind Down started with a zero budget, and just because we wanted to celebrate South Africa, so by supporting us in buying tickets or coming to our events and buying some of our products that will be available at some point, is supporting our cause, because we all three love people, and we all three of us love to share, and we would like to share more and to more people, and by subscribing and join us and come to our events and buy our products, you will help us getting where we want to be, and that's, yeah.
Well, I think if anything, even as we go into this year, I've met so many people just through the work I do that have said how they're struggling. They're saying January is weird, and some are actually have opened up and said, I'm finding it actually quite depressing. And I just want to share this short little message, because I think, Gerhard, you just said, yes, we love people and we love to share, but I think we want to create a platform. We want to give people an experience, and hopefully they will feel uplifted and energetic and wanting to thrive, not just survive, but thrive. I mean, and Michelle, I know you're a huge advocate of, of flow and living, positively and all of that. But there's the reality of how challenging it can be. So, I'm hoping that through this, creating this platform will also be a way for people to come together and just start to, just enjoy life. Because trust me, I mean, all three of us will probably put our hands up and say, yeah, it's been a real challenge, especially the last 2 years. And I know social media makes it very difficult, because it's not really the proper way. It's not the right platform for stories, because it's always the big moments that we see on social media, and all those tiny noticeable little things, right, don't really get shared, but they're so important, because those are the sequence of things that build up the plot for our story. So I mean, join our community, come along, be with us, and come and have some fun. We'll take you for a journey all around South Africa and all around the world. So
cool.
Oh, I think that's it.
I just my glass is empty.
Oh, sorry, Michelle. Yes.
Diana has left us some amazing comments. She has been telling us a little bit about her story as well. She launched her business in the UK 3 months after leaving South Africa in January 2020. So, I think this is the important part of story, is that we can find things in each other's stories that help us connect. So, it's quite important for us sometimes to share these things. Diana is also saying she enjoyed our online event. She joined us on the 18th of December, and she had so much fun with her friends, and she wants to find her story as well. As a speaker, identifying my key story will help shape the work that I do. And I think that is the case for many people. Well,
thank you, Diane.
Awesome. So if you have a story, bring it on. Come to us and we'll help you share your story.
Yeah. It's incredible. Absolutely. Well, when I say incredible, it's exciting at what we are hopefully going to, not hopefully.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to say hopefully. Michelle, you're going to bash me with a shoe. I know. No, we will make this happen.
We will make it happen. Definitely.
It is happening.
It is happening.
Happening now. It's growing. But yeah, so our next one, second Thursday of February. Is that correct?
Second Thursday of February, yes. So that will be on the 10th of February.
So come and join us then for live YouTube. If you're not live, great. Just listen to us afterwards. That's brilliant. And I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. Guys,
From me.
awesome. Thank you.
Bye from you.
Michelle, Gerhard, love sharing the stage with you. And to everyone that's joined us today, it's bye-bye from me, Andy Cops, and I'll let the other two say goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you very much, guys.
Bye from me.
It's time to wind down. Bye.
Wind down. Bye.